Welcome. This is the first announcement of Consciously Cocky, the new man movement. What do you feel about that, Zach?
I feel deeply at peace. I feel in love. I feel inspired. I feel devotion. I feel wonder and awe. I'm just beyond excited to reveal this to the world. How about you, brother?
Man, it feels like it is me, and at the same time, I'm stepping completely out of the way so it can unfold truly. And it's all the gifts I received over the years to become a fuller man, more grounded man, more heart open man, consciously cocky man. And at the same time, it is bigger than I.
Oh, oh. So I'm curious. Why don't you tell me about one of the things you love about this brotherhood? What does that mean to you?
It means the bliss and the fear of being seen truly. It is like, wow, I cannot hide in this brotherhood. And at the same time, I can feel the gift of not wanting to hide because I step more fully into the light, I step more fully into myself. And it is the first time to me that I experience being challenged, especially by other men, not as a version of being put down, but as a version of being lifted up into true potential here.
100%, man. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. How does it occur for you?
Yeah, for me, brotherhood has been life-changing. Exactly like you said, it was always this riddled with mistrust and closure and competition in an unhealthy way of trying to be better than, to where my experience of brotherhood now is like you said, this true witnessing, this challenge, but from a place of I love you, brother, rise with me, not I'm scared of you, brother, let me put you down. And um, yeah, I can't even, I'm still formulating the words on how to truly express the impact of that, but it has been enlightening to my body, to my heart, to my fuck, to my awareness, to my relationships, to my life. So,
Yes. Yeah, it is fascinating because I have a very similar feeling of um, somehow everything is the same, yet everything is completely different because I relate differently.
yes.
And I not only mean this in terms of relationships with my partner or with family, but also all of a sudden I have a relationship with nature. I can feel the aliveness in plants or in animals in a completely different way. And this is something that is touching me and brings aliveness into my life I have never felt before. I feel alive as fuck. It
Mhm.
is it is always on the edge of how much more can there actually be. Mm. And at the same time, I also have a completely new relationship with myself. Coming from a lot of judgment for myself, self-hatred, a lot of closure and victimhood. All of a sudden, there is choice, there's possibility, there's expansion, there is, if you see it that way, it's your way. Well, it does not have to be mine.
Yep.
So feels like first time I'm not putting more tools on myself and becoming more effective to function, but laying down the armor and showing up fully as myself.
Yeah, beautifully said, brother. I know my experience is very similar. To me, it's the way I've been sharing it with clients and friends and things lately is I've realized recently, probably the last 3, 4 months, that I show up the same everywhere.
Mm.
Business meeting, if it's a moment with my partner, my parents, her parents. It doesn't matter who I'm talking to, the president of the United States, Zach is there. It's the same person. I'm not putting on masks or personas or trying to fit in. It's this is who I am. This is what I love. This is what I believe in. This is what I'm gonna stand for.
Mhm.
And it's just the same thing. And so it makes life infinitely simpler to
Yeah, yeah,
just,
totally.
just show up versus all those hats and all those things.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally feel you, brother. It takes out so much complexity.
So,
Always thinking, what does the other person think about myself? What does it mean in terms of what does he or she expect me to do or be? And then accordingly trying to act from that and never really feeling it works. So it's always a failure. I
yes.
am always a failure. And all of a sudden it shifts to, yeah, I am. So love it or leave it.
Right. So I'm
Mm.
curious with this, and we've kind of touched on it in ways already, but I'm really curious, for someone listening, how does consciously cocky live for you? Like, what does that mean to you? How does it live for you? Or what is the benefit you see with someone of stepping into this movement of experiencing life this way?
Mm. Mm. It is taking full ownership of yourself. What's your desire? What is your need? What is your pain? What is your choice of responsibility? Uncomfortable and uncomfortable. What is the mission you choose? What is your choice you choose? Um, Sometimes it's good. Don't choose nothing else than stillness and silence to reconnect to a powerful place. Um, and this is only available if it is a choice, if it is a conscious choice. And if you have the balls to allow yourself to be yourself with others and with yourself. And I experienced the path here mm, as a lot of going to my edge of, oof, this is me seeing that in the beauty and in the fuck ups,
Uh,
and then bringing love to that, not anyways, but because of it. And then learning to do this while I am in company with others who potentially judge me and criticize me behind my back, the stories I had in my head. Mm, that is being aware of something ballsy nowadays, being yourself without any regrets and holding backs.
yeah,
It's consciously cocky.
beautiful. I love it.
And what about you?
Yeah, yeah. For me, it's really this. It's birthed from this desire of really expanding the capacity of what is available in terms of interacting with life as a man, of bringing more and more of the human experience into the equation, and really
Mm,
getting rid of so much of the closures and the judgments of this right and wrong and all of this nonsense, and just being able to be spectacularly human and to just show up again, resting in these basic experiences, these basic awarenesses of how to rest deeply in myself, and then just allowing myself to meet the moment again and again, and picking myself up, like I said, coming back to that love um, again and again, and resting in the beauty, the perfection, the challenge, the difficulty, the craziness, the overwhelm of it
mm,
all. And meeting it with this fervor, with this devotion to that experience, that fuck yes to all of that. Fuck yes to getting knocked on my ass. Fuck yes to fucking. Fuck yes to beauty, to expansiveness, to love. Fuck
mm,
yes to fear. Fuck yes to my closure. Fuck yes to to know, to the whole thing. And so uh, that's consciously cocky to me,
mm.
is a full on human experience through this body.
Yeah, beautiful. And I experience you because I know you for a while now as a man who sees this fear and everything around that, sadness or being triggered and challenged, um, and stepping into this consciously because it shows you the next step and really inviting discomfort as a teacher,
Mhm.
for growth. And that's something I really appreciate about you. At
Thank
the
you.
same time, I imagine that you didn't come out of the womb that way. So coming back in again and again, what you said, into the moment and into the sensations and experiences, how was that before you embodied that work?
Hmm. Yeah, it was torture. That's how I would put it. I used it to torture myself in the
Mhm.
simplest terms. And so it was, yeah, it was challenging and unpleasant and never enough and ripe with fear and closure and judgment and push away and all the things we do to try to keep ourselves safe that ultimately, fail
Yeah.
until we come back to something true. And so, yeah. How about for you? Yeah, what is that way? And I'll start, I guess, with what I love about you, since I appreciate the ways you saw me. Um, yeah, I experience you as just a master of being in the moment, of being able to connect to not only this beautifully deep awareness of what's happening and the love in that, but being able to really animate it and amplify it through your body to where there's a fully contextual experience that my mind, my senses, my body, my spirit is really able to uh, see and feel and know you because of how beautifully you share it and how deeply you share it. You're to me a very exemplary example of walking around as a human because you have such a depth of both your masculine and feminine readily available in a very deep and true way. And so how, obviously for you, how has that shifted over time? Where were you before this and what was it like before you relaxed into being you?
Hmm. Yes. Oh, beautiful, brother. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
So before I claimed myself, mm, um, I would have never could taken that compliment. For example, I would have constantly judged you for not knowing me at all. Because if you know me truly, you would see the truth of the ugliness and the failure and um, all the mistakes I am. And so I would have not let that touch me at all. Um, it would have brought a distance in between us because also I would have felt there's expectations. I have to bring that back and also top it. So I don't own you anything, coming out of an insecurity, of course, out of a fear of being seen weak, translation vulnerable.
Mhm.
I would have laughed it, made it small, told myself everyone is that anyways. So there was no worship for myself from myself. And at the same time, there was a deep mm, longing for being touched and being seen and feel something. I was so numb. I always I always went into extremes of overeating, of being drunk 3 times a week, of smoking weed 10 years straight, watching movies, watching porn, masturbate. Like I was a master in numbing out
Yeah.
because I was so afraid. And at the same time, I wanted to feel something. And those extremes, even an extreme numbing, is an extreme feeling. Um, yeah, and came with a beautiful combination of I need to prove my worth to everyone else. So overworking and overdoing in all aspects of my life was just a default mode. Um, I could never sit still or be with myself in silence. That was my torture.
Yeah.
All the thoughts and all the pain I never felt coming up.
Yeah.
And that led me beautifully in a depression and to a point where my thoughts taught me, Sebastian, you don't have to suffer. Um, if you leave this life, suffering is over. And I know if I don't change anything immediately and seek for help, I will not survive that.
Mhm.
Um, and it became my greatest teacher in my life so far.
Thank you for going so deep there, brother. I resonate with so much of the numbing and the avoiding and the pain and as you're aware, you're not alone in that, nor am I. So many of us experience that, and which leads me to my next question, which is, because in this world, I think we often um, get a little stuck in, especially when we're trying to present something and only showing the beautiful parts, and we shy away from showing the parts that we still think are ugly or not enough or the things. And so I'm curious what pains and what closures and what doubts are still here. Are you still, on that journey with?
Yes. So first thing coming to mind is consciously cocky, right? I have no doubt that the experiences and the practices we share are gold. I have no idea how to reach people with this message.
Mhm.
So there's still a voice telling me, don't even try. It's doomed to fail anyways.
Mhm.
Um, Yet I'm here.
Yeah.
Mm, there are again moments where I think, wow, that was not very elegant. That was not very conscious how you said it. That wasn't artfully how you handled the conflict. Um, and so I can still, it feels to me like a shadow of the past trying to overtake me.
Mhm.
um, and drawing me back into the spiral downwards. And that happens once in a while, but I catch myself either in the shadowing coming up and then seeing it and letting it go, or on the way down. And I have these tools I use for myself every day to just stop it and feel it. Just really don't trying to push it away, but really let it close and let it be painful, let it be sad, let it be joyful,
Mhm.
let it be comfortable more than I usually could touch it. And then it is felt and it leaves, it shifts to something else. Mm. But it's still part of the process, but it's not directing my life anymore. And
Yeah.
that's a big shift I experience.
Beautiful. Yeah. And I love that. I think you touched on one of the more beautiful parts of, this movement, this work that we're talking about, which is that ability to make space and to listen and to allow it to be there. I know for me, a lot of that journey is still around this very old pattern of resistance, of just seeking that comfort, seeking that numbing that you talked about, still seeking that, like, I don't quite know what to do, but instead of sitting in the discomfort of not knowing, let me distract myself for 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and getting to not only learn to bring awareness back to that, but to bring love back to that, to bring fierceness back to that, and to um,
What are your
really
tools of
learn to
distraction?
touch.
Oh, sorry, I didn't want to
Go
interrupt.
ahead. Yeah.
I'm curious, like, what are your everyday tool, or not everyday, but what are your tool? Jesus, I'm gonna question again. um, for example, now there was a wave of, oh man, now you fucked up.
Yeah.
So the question was, what are your tools of getting distracted?
Oh, so how do I distract myself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, phone, social media.
Hmm.
I love to distract myself with sports. It has
Hmm.
always been my thing. It's been there since I was a little boy. Sports was how I got dad's attention.
Ah, wow.
And so it was a thing that I both strived to be the best and I strived to know the most because it
Hmm.
was a way that it was a direct way to get his attention and conversation interaction with him as if it was playing catch or talking about football or basketball or a thing. And so there's still that little one in me who will default to what else can I learn? What else can I find here? What else is here as this way of really probably soothing the hurt and the yeah and the sadness of that being the path, so to speak, and there not being other ways.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah. I'm sharing that.
yeah, yeah. So,
Is
but
there
yeah,
more?
that's
I interrupted you. Oh, your flow.
no. I was to say. I mean, I think that's that's the practice that my experience of where I was before of opening the space as a man now to learn to slow down and listen and make contact and touch that part and learn to let it have a life, learn to let it, have an expression without the judgment. And oftentimes, sometimes with the judgment, and just
Hmm.
moving it and be like, okay, well, that's just where I'm at today. Is it? It's coming with the judgment, and so, but I moving it will always feel better, and then I can, come back and clean it up inside myself later with, those parts of hearing that and recognizing that and being able to allow it to be there, but not believing it, but still doing the practice, still doing the work.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And that's fascinating because um, I experienced my father as being the outer voice of judgment,
mm,
right? And the symbol of being with judgment and still striving for what is my truth, is also the practice in the relationship with my father. And I do this with my own self judgment, but
mhm,
also he will always be my father.
yeah,
I, there were a lot of times where I wanted to change that or deny that, but he will always be my father.
yeah,
So this outer judgment will always be part of my life, and I can fight it and waste a lot of energy, I found. Um, or I can listen to the message of the judgment, and then move through it or with it. Um, and the symbolism I see there is even deeper because it's also the reason why I am who I am.
mhm,
Without my father, I wouldn't be on this planet as I am. Without my father being how my father is, I wouldn't be the man I am. And so there's always a teaching, even in judgment and even in fathers.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's so funny you say that. I had was just having a conversation with my partner last night of washing dishes, and all of a sudden this thought comes through of like, men, boys learn how to love women by how their father loved their mother, and girls learn how to be loved and by men by how their fathers do it. And it was like, wow, what did my father teach me about that? And
Mm.
it's this huge thing because I noticed the old patterns because there's this way I blamed him for a lot of things for a long time of coming up to get all the criticisms and just letting that like wash over as this wave, just like, yes, there are things I didn't like, but really, can I just let that move past me? Because what are the beautiful things he did show? Like any person, he was flawed and hurting and scared and wildly human. And can I just let him be wildly human and
Mhm.
come back to one of the teachings we'll talk about in this movement, which is finding the beauty in what he did offer, looking for it consciously instead of just letting the negativity or the hurt judge my experience so deeply of him. um, so it was just fascinating. I talked to him, I was like, this is wild. And having this thing and being cascaded with this negativity, but it's interesting how it's not sticking. It's literally just washing over me. And underneath of that is this deep desire to really find what was beautiful about him as a man, as a lover, because I'm tired of holding the pain and the judgment of him for all of those things. He doesn't deserve it, nor
Yeah.
do I. And so I just think that it was a fascinating 5 minutes. But
Yeah, yeah, totally. And I think we should dedicate a whole episode to fathers. I think there's a lot of to discover and a lot
yes.
of to share. Um, yeah.
Mhm.
So, um, at what point in his life is a man, when consciously cocky, can become his next step?
Say that in a different way. I'm not quite following that.
So, as a man seeing this right now,
Mhm.
um, where am I in my life? So consciously cocky can support me to find my own path. What questions do I have? What challenges? Um,
Yeah. I mean, I'll speak from, I think this work calls to men on a number of different paths, but I think the number one thing is a desire to look, a desire to learn, a desire to listen, a desire or a realization that there's something more.
mhm,
Yes. And whether that realization is through pain, through numbness, through overwhelm, through um, overburdened, to me, it's that man that's just like, I'm done living that expression, or I'm overwhelmed with this, but I don't know how to get out. There's got to be a way out. Uh,
mhm,
so that to me is the men who are, yeah, whether it's in relationship with a woman, their relationship to their own sexuality and fuck, um, their relationship to money, to their business, to their nourishment, to their purpose. Like um, it's to me, this work is an invitation to all those men because we'll be touching on the things that are underneath of that, that are deeper than that, that will allow him to rest into a place where all of those things are touched through the work.
mhm.
Yeah. How about for you? What do you see with that? What message or what man do you think this is for?
Yes. So the question I hear, this is it. I followed expectations of society of how to be successful, of how to be a man, and now I'm here and I hate my life. Or I don't enjoy being alive,
Yep.
or I don't am alive. I I don't feel alive at all. I feel just drained. So this is it. That's the question I hear.
Mhm.
And this comes along with um, finding finding my mission. Like on whose mission am I? If I don't feel alive, if I don't feel purposeful, if I don't feel nourished, then I follow someone else's mission.
Mhm.
What is my mission? Actually, how do I want to leave um, this planet behind? Is there a legacy? Is there a kingdom I want to leave behind in a better state than I found it? Mm, that could be a desire that will be served through consciously cocky, for example. Also, um, the question like, um, what the fuck does she want? You know, the relating.
That one still exists inside of consciously cocky.
Yes, but I see a lot of um, either I see a lot of answers, a lot of solutions, how I can bring my masculinity as a gift
Mhm.
for her. So it gets clearer, there will be
Yes.
clarity.
Yeah.
Or I can rest in her storm with a smile and love her for her energy in it. But it's not like I'm overwhelmed, I have no orientation, I feel repelled by her reactions. Um, and I can still touch this feeling from years ago in my past relationships of, okay, before this becomes another conflict, I just give in. I just tuck my cock between my legs and I just go with her to this event I don't care about. I just meet her friend who I just cannot stand. And I'm not talking about not being open to meet my woman somewhere, but when I am not all in with my heart and my cock, I
Yeah.
don't do it anymore because I will not be there with her.
Yeah.
Um, so the question of what does she want or why is it so complicated and draining, those are questions I carried around, and consciously cocky would help me get answers.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as you're saying that, that brings up a lot more of, for me, of like men who don't feel enough. I was one, or I can never do enough. I can never be enough. I never get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's in relationship and sex and work, et cetera, of those things. And that's why I love, this invitation into Consciously Cocky, into this community for men, because it is, um, to me, it's not about answers. And that's a big thing I'm working on. Like, Consciously Cocky is a way of being, it's a way of experiencing, it's a way of relating to self and life,
Mm-hmm.
to where the answers show themselves to you. I'm not up here, Sebastian's not up here as a guru. We don't have answers for you. We have practices, we have experiences, we have things that we will walk beside you and with you to experience your truth, because that's what fucking matters is emerges is you being able to discover what's true for you in those worlds. And stepping out of what I hear there, what we talked about, a lot of these stories of what happens when we live the condition thing. You said, whose mission is this? It's the mission of society, of the conditioning of what it is to be a man, of what you do with life, of what a woman's for, of all these things. And yeah, and that's what I love about this. It's different in that I don't know what type of man you should be, but I'm here to walk next to you and challenge you and love you and help you discover it and amplify it and celebrate you in it when it feels like fucking truth. And I can feel it in your fucking balls and in your heart and your consciousness, and to challenge you when I don't.
Yeah.
And it will be revealed along the way. There is no, do this. There's no formula. There's no thing. It's it's life. It's learning to live. And so,
Yeah. And you touched on something that really excites me, because you will never walk alone, brother.
yes.
The brotherhood. So you will do processes by yourself, but you will not do it alone. And this feeling of, oh fuck yeah, there's another man who shares this pain, who shares this experience or this burden, is by itself just a huge relief.
Mhm. Okay. So this is just the first of many invitations and things into the world of Consciously Cocky. We're so looking forward to being of service and in relationship to you on this journey. And we can't wait to hear from you. It's a blessing, brother.
Yeah.
Pause. Timer. Okay. Good morning and welcome. I'm Dr. Zach Lyons,
And I'm Sebastian Poteus.
and it is our distinct honor and pleasure to introduce to you our new creation, Consciously Cocky.
The movement of the new conscious masculine. And Consciously Cocky is a community. It's a brotherhood. It's a portal to reclaim your gifts, the power and the beauty of what it is to be a man.
This movement has come from the deepest parts of our heart. It is in response to listening and hearing the cries of our world, of our women, of our planet, asking us to step forth, to reclaim our divinity, to reclaim our power, our love, our worship as ourselves as men, and to gift that love, that potency, that awareness to ourselves, to our communities, and to our planet.
Yes. Joining this brotherhood is a beautiful opportunity to heal your wounds with the masculine. You'll be met and held by deep, potent, kind-hearted men who are here with you to change the narrative of what it is to be a man, to be seen. I don't know what that meant.
I accidentally didn't delete that. It's okay.
Okay.
My bad. Yeah. Yeah. In this community, we'll be sharing videos, courses, inviting people in. This is a place where you'll learn the embodiment tools that are needed to develop this potency of masculinity. You'll learn breath work, finding stillness, finding center, grounding, developing this potent listening ability to go deep and to hear what is the truth of the moment rather than the noise of your conditioning.
Mm.
And this will allow you to discover your deepest gifts, your deepest truths. It'll allow you to learn to breathe the way you're designed to breathe, to walk the way you're designed to walk, to fuck the way you're designed to fuck, and to live the way you're designed to live.
Oh.
Yeah. That was 2 minutes and 22 seconds.
Beautiful time.
We'll pause that again. Yeah. And then so then I think there is then, yeah, we would just need a wrap up. We just need to extend the invitation again.
Yes.
To join the movement.
But also, man, this is